Today's news program is going to focus on the thrilling events surrounding the colony of Jamestown. Let's dive into the action.
Yes, indeed. But first, let's catch our viewers with a little history on Jamestown. Jamestown is an English colony in Virginia at Chesapeake Bay.
It was founded by the London Company, which was chartered by King James I in 1606.
For more information on Jamestown beginning, let's take it over to Hannah, who's live with King James I right now. Hannah?
Thank you guys for that segment. I'm Hannah, and today I'm joined with King James of England to discuss the new colony, Jamestown. King James, what was your reasoning behind issuing the London Company a charter?
I'm hoping that the voyagers will be able to establish colonies and outposts to expand English trade and obtain a wider market for manufactured goods. We also plan to spread Christianity. England is a dominant nation, and we plan to stay that way.
Good, thank you. And so, what are you going to do to ensure that Jamestown is a success?
We sent 144 men aboard 3 ships, most of which are artisans and aristocrats. They are intelligent, and I expect them to find gold.
All right.
Much like the Spanish colonies.
Okay. Can you tell us more about these 3 ships?
The 3 ships are called the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery. They set sail from London on December 20th, 1606.
Thank you. And now back to the anchors.
Thank you, Hannah. I sure did learn a lot.
Well, I already knew all of that. Maybe you should have brushed up on your history before we did the segment.
And your attitude is why they are paying me more.
Right, enough. Let's get on with the action.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Here's a clip of the first group of settlers arriving at Chesapeake Bay on April 26, 1607. Things didn't always go so swell for the colonists. Doris, why don't you give us a weather update?
These settlers sure did face some heat when they arrived, with highs in the upper 90s all week long. It's no wonder they didn't get much work done. Trying to find food, build housing, and unload supplies sure is a lot of work when it's so humid and sticky outside. Poppy, back to you.
Breaking news! I've just received word of a malaria outbreak out in Jamestown. With such swampy terrain, I should have seen this coming. I take you live to the outbreak.
I come to you guys with breaking news. We have outbreaks of malaria in Jamestown, Virginia. As you can see from the map, Jamestown is located near the ocean by very swampy areas. The health sanitation of the settlers is not great, so stay away!
Man, those settlers sure did have it rough.
Well, it just got worse. We've received reports of violence outbreaks between the natives and settlers. The natives have had enough of the settlers stealing their land away from them.
They've decided to attack Jamestown. OMG, the settlers don't need to lose any more people to such disasters.
That's not all. We just received word of a food shortage in Jamestown.
Such a tragedy.
My children.
These settlers sure do need some guidance. They're not doing anything right.
Well, Bobby, I believe the man for the job just arrived.
Settlers of Jamestown, it is I, the young, handsome, strong John Smith. I've come to save you from these hard times.
Hannah, talk to us about John Smith.
Thank you guys for that information. I'm Hannah, back again with another interview. Now I'm with John Smith.
The John Smith?
I'm so sorry. The John Smith, how did you get everyone to start working?
I told them that he that will not work shall not eat, and so they just started working, because everyone wants to eat, you know?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I guess, why did you come to Jamestown?
I came to Jamestown because I knew the settlers weren't getting anywhere fast at all, and so they needed me. And I just kind of started helping them. I brought men with me to help fight off the natives and help farm. It worked.
That's great. And then why were you elected leader of Jamestown?
I was elected leader because I found the colony and they were not doing so hot. So I was like, you guys need some help. And I started working with them and I told them the eating thing. And they just loved me. So they were like, you know what? We want you to be our leader. And that's how the story ends.
That is fantastic.
I know.
Well, thank you, John Smith, for joining us today.
Anytime.
And now back to you, guys.
That man has done some great things for Jamestown.
Indeed he has. The future of Jamestown should be owed to John Smith.
Long live Smith! Long live Smith!
Cut it out, Poppy. We have a show to put on here.
Okay.
Jamestown is going to be very prosperous. So prosperous that more colonists have arrived.
'Tis I, John Rolfe, and I have brought tobacco seeds for everyone. Stupid sea legs.
In that shipment, another man named John arrived. Hannah, talk to us about a man named John Rolfe.
Thank you, Anchors. I'm Hannah, back with another interview. Today I'm joined by John John Rolfe.
What was that?
So why did you come to Jamestown?
I came to Jamestown because there's a lack of land in England, so I found a new crop from India called tobacco, which the land in Virginia especially is very equipped to grow.
Cool. How is tobacco grown?
Tobacco is a plant that grows out of the ground very similar to a tomato plant, which we are very accustomed to having in Virginia. So since it requires many acres of fields because it grows so big and so large so quickly, so it also requires many men to harvest the stalks, and it's very poor. It makes the soil very, very poor for the rest of the crop, so it destroys most of the fields that it's growing in for several years.
Interesting. So, did this crop affect trade in the colonies?
Jamestown particularly was very affected by my new plant called tobacco. It was one of the main cash crops of Virginia for several years, and it started the main export and import system that the colonies had with the other neighboring nations.
Well, I have to ask, have you ever consumed your product?
Does one taste their own tea before they serve it to their guests? What type of question is that?
So, John Rolfe, I hear you knew Pocahontas.
I did. I was married to Pocahontas for several years until her unfortunate death while we were returning from our recent trip to England. So our relationship brought very many years of peace between the natives and the settlers in Virginia and Jamestown in particular, because of they didn't want to possibly offend the other one, me or either Pocahontas.
Interesting. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Hannah.
Back to the Anchors.
The man saved the colony from economic ruin. He created an export that could be shipped to Europe for immense profits. That man is a hero.
I agree.
With more information, let's take it over to Fatty with the traffic report.
Muy bueno! This is Fatty Traffic Report. Thank you, Doris. As you can see here, the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, cha-cha, are backed up due to trading of tobacco again and other goods. Thanks to John Rolfe, Jamestown now has a large supply of tobacco to export to Europe. Now back to the anchors for more information on Jamestown.
Man, I sure wouldn't go out to see it this hour.
Neither would I, Poppy.
Anyways, Jamestown is now starting to turn out to be quite the successful colony.
We will now show you footage of the prosperous colony.
Man, they turned a plain old pile of sticks into a house. That's pretty impressive if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I think anyone would think that was impressive.
Whatever, Doris.
As we draw this program to a close, we would now like to run through the lasting effects the colony of Jamestown had on America's future.
Well, for starters, it was the first permanent English colony in the Americas. Those dang colonists on Roanoke didn't count. They just up and left.
Yes, and Jamestown was the first place of representative government with the House of Burgesses. Some may say it helped encourage the split between English and American rule.
And lastly, it encouraged more Englishmen and women to travel to the Americas. Even though Jamestown had a rough start, it grew to become a prosperous colony.
We will leave you with that, viewers of America.
We hope you have enjoyed this program on the history of Jamestown. Join us again next time for the lasting effects of the colony of Roanoke. Haha, get it, Doris? There were no lasting effects because everybody disappeared.
Why did I agree to work with you every time we do a segment? You always mention Roanoke.
I don't know. Bye.
I come to you guys with breaking news. We have outbreaks of malaria in Jamestown, Virginia. Due to the swampy area.
That's not. Hang on. Okay.
Oh, you're recording?
Jesus.
Yeep. Oh! Come on, you can do it. Yes!
Bench, look at me.
Ice cream truck!
There's a bird.
My shoe fell off. Can we be done? Yeah.
Bay and the Atlantic Ocean are backed up due to trading of tobacco and other goods. Thanks to John Rolfe, James.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Hannah.
Back to the anchors.
Bonjour.
Ah!
Retain.
And I have
De toi. Go.
Am I listening to you or I'm listening to
Wait.
Thanks for that information. It's Hannah back again with another interview. Today,
Just start again.